right, let's do this. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to another edition of the Uper Farmer Cigar Garage Talks. How's everyone doing tonight? I'm doing okay. A lot on my mind. Kind of what we're going to be talking about tonight. But before we get too deep into it, what are we smoking? What are we drinking? I'm smoking. I found this one kind of just lying around in a random shop, actually. It's the Freedom Cigar by Rocky. Is it Petal or Pearl? I always pronounce it wrong. Petal, Rocky Petal. Their Freedom Cigar. It's a good price. I've never heard of it before. Figured I'd check it out. And I'm enjoying it so far. For the beverage tonight, good old-fashioned coffee with a little cream in it. Something to keep me warm here in the garage while the fire, my stove heats up the rest of the garage. Still no alcohol. We're still kind of in the midst of Lent. But I can't wait to bring the beers back to this channel and this video series because, boy, does a beer and a cigar go great together, all right? So tonight, I don't know if I call this a pleading or begging or whatever I can say. This is my pitch to everyone out there. It's time to be prepared. There's a lot going on in the world today. Between the wars that are starting up, the ones that look on the horizon. Mostly I'm talking about the war in Ukraine. Now, I know a lot of you are probably like, but wait, the news tells me that they're on the verge of signing a peace deal. Okay, if they're on the verge of signing a peace deal, why do they keep gaining more territory, and why do they keep up attacking? If you're trying to talk about peace, the one thing that'll sour a country's stomach for peace is to continually press on with combat. Then you read the news stories, Russia's bogged down. They're weeks, days, minutes, seconds away from total surrender. Again, if that was true, why are they still making advances? There is more to this. There's more strategy, why they attack some towns but not others, why they attack some and level them to the ground, and others, they just do some precision hits. So I think the news is definitely, as we've seen in every conflict, even COVID, the beer flu, right? Up until we had the major outbreaks start, we were told, it's not a big deal. We'll stop it at our borders. This is more of a China problem than a U.S. problem. And it wasn't until they couldn't hide anymore and we had hundreds of thousands of infected that finally they came out and said, yep, this is a big deal. That's one of it. Because they are this is nothing, not a big deal. The Russians will be defeated in a week. Logically, that doesn't make sense. This just reeks of escalation. This is going to be a conflict that just keeps escalating. We've heard our president talk about his plans to escalate it now. We've heard Russian diplomats and diplomats and dignitaries talk about their going to escalate. What are we going to see? Sorry about my light. Great video topic talking about prepping and your light dies, but that was me forgetting to charge the thing because I forgot I recorded a video last night with my wife. And I forgot to plug in the light. So what's going to happen? Yes, the president himself said food prices. There's going to be food shortages. This isn't just a case of increased food prices. When they say shortage, they mean you can't get food. You might not be able, this isn't I can't get my double mocha latte, double shot espresso from whatever coffee shop. This isn't, I guess I have to switch from gluten-free, non-hydrogenated, locally sourced alfalfa grain flour to regular flour. When they say food shortages, they mean we have to net import our grains. These grains, of course, go for making flour. You might think, well, I can probably live without flour, but then they also go to feed our livestock. That alone, the fact that you're going to have livestock aren't going to be as beefy because we can't get the grains and nutrients. We won't be able to bring in the grains to feed ourselves. And then we hear that fertilizer is also taking a hit. Many, many, many farmers that I know are all sweating because fertilizer has jumped at least 50%, and their distributors are saying it's not going to stop there. Now, I'm not going to be a fear monger. That's what everyone says. All these prepping videos and channels say, well, I'm not trying to fear monger. I'm just trying to be serious. Well, that's what it is. I've never really said to, people should become preppers or whatnot. But this is that one time. Get a bag of rice. Put it in a 5-gallon bucket. Get some storage containers, some Rubbermaid containers. Stick it in there. Sure, you might be... this will all blow over, and then what are you left with? Well, you're left with 5 pounds of rice. Bear 25 pounds or a 50-pound bag of rice. Worst case scenario, you can put it in your garden and let it compost, or you just add rice into your meal. Many doctors actually say it's kind of a healthy alternative to some of the other carbohydrates and starches you can add to your meal. But if stuff does kick off, a 25 or 50-pound bag of rice will give you minimum calories for maybe a week or two, maybe longer, depending on how much you actually need. It's a well-known fact we are 3 days from total chaos. A lot of preppers count it by meals. You're 9 meals away from anarchy. If people don't eat for 3 days, they get desperate for food. They start making choices that they normally wouldn't. And that is not just some tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy theory number pulled out of thin air. That one is backed up with historical dates and data. Even with working my job around FEMA, they have the 3-day kits. We're told we have to be able to stand up our relief efforts within 3 days, because if we don't, people get desperate. People get crazy. People do things that normally they wouldn't to get food, to get whatever supplies they might need. So we exercise to get relief in there within 3 days. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. We need that relief. We need it now. So that number is very real. The longer you can keep yourself fed, the longer you're going to be able to think cognitively and rationally. The longer you keep yourself fed, the less strain you're going to put on the systems that these governments and communities will try to set up. And again, it's one thing, one bag of rice, one 25, 50-pound bag of rice tucked away, put it in a plastic bucket with a lid. Your investment will probably be all of maybe $20, $25. It's, what would they, 4 of those extra mocha, latte, jalapeno, whatever coffees cost. And again, it's rice. You can eat it throughout the year. Not a big deal. But to have that could mean the difference between comfort and discomfort. It could mean the difference between anarchy and civility. It could make the difference between life and death. I hate to say that one because I don't like getting so dramatic with this, but now I'm not saying go and buy 50 bags of rice or try to get a year's worth of food. One, you won't be able to find a lot of it. 2, it's not as easy as you think to store it and to preserve it. And not to mention, if everyone started doing that, we're going to cause an artificial problem. Simple stuff like that. Buying an extra can of canned goods. If you usually use, a can of spaghetti sauce, or you make your world famous spaghetti, buy 2 cans. Tuck one away. It really is. I've been reaching out to friends and family members, especially my international friends. I have quite a few who live in different countries that I've met during different responses and different times when I was a little more walkabout with my life. I've been reaching out to them to see if they need supplies, reminding them, you know what, just consider it. Consider putting some dry goods. It's good for 2 to 3 years. Just consider putting it, tucking away in a bucket. Maybe in 5 years we'll have a good laugh when we find some stale rice about how silly I was. But I don't think it's going to be there. I don't think this is going to get worse before it gets better. I know a lot of people are hoping, and the news channels are saying things are going to get just around the next week. There'll be peace in Ukraine. It's not going to happen. You listen to a lot of analysts who are not backed by an agenda or a network that's paying them, and just think logically. Russia has more tanks, more bombs, more missiles than all of Europe combined. And you mean to tell me they can't take over? They can't level and flatten one country? Why not? Well, because they're being more strategic about it. They're being selective on the targets they're hitting. They don't want to cause widespread death and destruction and mayhem. They want to take out very specific targets. So don't believe the media. If nothing else, the last 2 years, I don't know why everyone isn't a prepper after the last 2 years dealing with the beer flu. We saw lockdowns. We saw being blatantly lied to about how good or how bad responses were going. It went both ways. We were blatantly lied to about the effectiveness of certain treatments and certain vaccines, and we're still being blatantly lied to about a lot of stuff. And it just shocks me that you still see people that will admit, oh yeah, the news was horrible. They've got an agenda. They lie to me. But they're telling the truth about Ukraine. Yep, everything they're saying about Ukraine is true. We'll have a peace talks. They're going great. We're going to have peace next week. So, I don't get it. I don't. That's like the people who vote for politicians and are shocked when the politician lied in their campaign promises. I can't believe he'd lie in his campaign. All politicians lie. Every single one of them are all dirty liars. They'll say what they need to say to get elected, and that's it. But still, it shocks us. Every year, every 2 years, every 4 years, we're just amazed. Oh, I can't believe candidate so-and-so lied. He didn't keep his promise to build a new road here or extend funding there or whatever. It's amazing. I heard one person say it's what's called normalcy bias. We just want things to be back to normal. We want to be in this place where we don't have to worry about food security. We don't have to worry about world wars. We don't have to worry about diseases. We don't have to worry. We want to be in that, the Beaver, Leave It to Beaver show, where everything's wonderful and great, and every episode ends with this beautiful, well tied together resolution. No, that's not life. Again, if you're a friend or a family member and you need some help prepping, planning, at least brainstorming where you should go, don't be afraid to reach out and contact me. I can set you straight, give you some ideas, give you some pointers. If I don't know you, I wish I did, because I'm willing to help out even those people I don't know. But get a bag of rice in a 5-gallon bucket with a lid. Put the two together, tuck it away somewhere. Again, worst case scenario, you have to put a little more extra rice in your diet, which again is apparently healthier than doing a bunch of high processed carbs and whatnot. Best case scenario, though, again, it's going to give you peace of mind, a full stomach, some clarity because you're able to think clear and not act irrational. Food to think about. again, I don't think this is going to end anytime soon. I think we're in it for the long haul. I believe historians will look back and say that when Russia invaded Ukraine, that was the start of World War III. We're in it. Um, so get ready, folks. That's probably all I'm going to say about this matter, this topic, unless something drastic changes. But get ready, be prepared, don't panic. Take it smart, take it slow, have a plan, but let's be ready. Anyway, folks, that's where I'm going to leave it here. So I hope everyone's doing well and staying safe out there, and we'll see you on the next one.